A new meme was born, though. Why this moment against OKC set the Joker off, and Tim McMahon details how much longer they'll be without Aaron Gordon. Look out, Wemby, he landed in Madison Square Garden, but the Knicks were ready. We're going to explain how New York's defense helped expose the Spurs' biggest weakness. NBA Today starts right now. We do start our show, though, with breaking news with our senior insider, Shams Charania, who has more out of Milwaukee. Shams, what more can you tell us about Giannis?
Malika, sources tell me that Giannis Antetokounmpo is expected to return tonight at home against the Boston Celtics after missing over 5 weeks with the right calf strain, the second right calf strain he had in over a 1-month span, and the fourth calf strain he's had in just under 2 years. But Giannis was adamant about coming back, returning to the lineup for the Bucks and trying to get this team as many wins as possible. And internally, my understanding is John Horst, the general manager, and Doc Rivers, the head coach, have been steadfast that they believe this team can contend in the East if they can get into the playoffs. They're 26-33, 3 games behind the 10th seed right now out of the play-in slot. They've got the Celtics tonight, a critical game against the Hawks, who are directly ahead of them on Wednesday. This is a franchise right now that is full steam ahead in trying to get into the play-in spot.
Yeah, we got to get into the play-in spot before we talk about making noise in the Eastern Conference. Shams, going up against the Boston Celtics, as you mentioned, do we have any idea of if Giannis is he going to be limited, minutes restriction, anything that we should be looking for towards tonight and moving forward?
Given the first time that he had this same injury earlier in the year, there was a minutes restriction. There was they paid close attention to that, and the fact that it's his fourth in just under 2 years, the Bucks will be careful with it. But Giannis has been of the mindset that he wants to do everything he can to try to will this team into the play-in.
Yeah, Giannis told me at the All-Star break, I'm healthy, I'm ready to go. I just need to get a couple reps under his belt. It was delayed a little bit more than that, but now Giannis on his way back. Shams, thank you so very much for that insight. As Shams mentioned, the Bucks, they go into play tonight. They're 3 games back of the Hornets. Hey, Hornets, for the final spot in the play-in in the East. They're 2 out in the loss column from both 9 and 10 here. I'm joined by our senior writers, Brian Windhorst, Tim McMahon, and Ramona Shelburne here. All right, Brian, I'm going to start with you. We hear that the Bucks are saying that they think they can make some noise, but let's just start with what they need to do over the next few weeks. What are you looking for from Milwaukee?
Well, they've gone 8-7 the 15 games that Giannis missed. They were in 11th place when he got hurt. They're still in 11th place. So by winning those games in that stretch, they've given themselves a chance to get in the play-in. Really, their goal would need to be to get to 7 or 8, so you avoid having to win 2 play-in games. But look, like in a league where so many teams are tanking, you have to respect when a team's trying to win. Unfortunately for them, the teams in front of them are all doing that. There's no tanking teams in front of them.
We made it 3 minutes before we said the T word.
The one team tanking teams in front of them was the Bulls, and they dropped it down. But I will say that the thing about when you look at the Bucks, their hope is to improve their team. You know, they've got it right now. If their lottery was tonight, they would have a 3% chance to get the #1 pick and a 13% chance to get in the top 3. That is better than the Mavericks had last year when they won the Cooper Flag lottery. So, like, maybe they feel like their chances wouldn't have increased. I don't see how they materially improve their team by not trying to get a higher draft pick. But again, I respect a team that's trying to win, so go do it. I'm not sure to what end, but this is what Giannis wants. This is what they're going to do.
This is what Giannis wants, and he's determined to play. I mean, he said it to you. He said, I think I'm 100%, and I think he would love nothing more than to get into that play-in tournament. We can all talk about the odds and whether they should be trying to win or not. It's better if they get a better draft pick, but it upsets the basketball gods. And I think when you're trying to convince, by the way, they are still trying to convince him to stay. I know we've talked about a trade the whole time, but because they didn't trade him, there is an opportunity, and I know they've discussed this in Milwaukee, to try to improve the team in the offseason so that Giannis feels more comfortable staying. And then we get to October when they can put a max contract in front of him and dare him not to sign it.
And what's the most valuable asset that the Bucks would have to improve the team in the offseason? It would be a lottery pick. And I hate to be hypocritical because we have been very critical of the tanking epidemic, right? There's a tanking epidemic because that's the smartest strategy. This is not in the Bucks' best long-term interest. We're not going to pretend that the Bucks have a chance in hell of doing anything in the Eastern Conference playoffs this year. They can pretend that in Milwaukee. No, stop it. Stop it. No, the Bucks do not have any chance of doing anything. They're not going to win. they're not going to win a single playoff game. I will say that right now.
I mean, yesterday's game, I would agree with you. But they were 6-4 at Bryant's.
The season.
Well, when Giannis comes back, let's not forget, he's averaging 28 points in 29 minutes.
That could be a rallying call, Malika. We could play that video clip in a couple of months. I don't know.
This is going to end up on the Jumbotron. By the way, 65% from the field here. All right, so that's the Milwaukee Bucks. We're going to see Giannis back in action here in the Eastern Conference. But how about Wemby and the Spurs over the weekend? They marched into Madison Square Garden after putting together a perfect February. Let's go to Madison Square Garden now.
It's my favorite Spurs influence.
Oh, sugar. Oh, bless you. Oh, my goodness.
You are tall, sugar. That was the welcome that Wemby got in Madison Square Garden, and this is the welcome he gave back. An exclamation mark. Wemby imposing his will early there with the slam. And then a minute left in the first quarter here. Jalen Brunson, look at him. He baits Dylan Harper into jumping. He can't jump. He gets the shot to go plus the foul. Brunson putting in work on the rookie. And then the next Knicks possession, Brunson pulls, bottoms on the three. The Brunson burner officially firing. Early in the second quarter here, Harrison Barnes tries to pass it to De'Aaron Fox. Mikal Bridges, he was excellent in this game. Goes coast to coast with a layup, getting active on the defensive end. And then 2 minutes left in the third quarter here. Watch Wemby. Puts a little pump fake action on Mitchell Robinson.
How many steps, though?
Over OG. 1, 2, and a smidge. Over OG Anunoby.
Just his steps are so long.
7 minutes left now. We go ahead to the fourth quarter here. This is when really the Knicks rather are in control. Mikal Bridges
That
goes
guy
the other
again.
way. There he goes. That
5
man.
steals.
Under 5 minutes left in the fourth. De'Aaron Fox's pass picked off again by Mikal Bridges. Landry Shamet is the one who slams it down. Gosh, Shamet. He got that one to go.
You got me with that one.
The Spurs. Here's Victor Wembanyama on the physical play.
I think they did put some physicality, but not even the most that we've seen, you know. And for some reason, we were somewhat hesitant. I think in general, a team thing. They're a good basketball team. They got good actual basketball players, you know. They're not like the nastiest ugly team, you know. They're not an ugly team to watch, but they made our game ugly.
Well, it was a little bit, I won't say ugly. Should we just say offensive struggle for the Spurs, who scored a season-low 89 points, takes one to no one, committed a season-high 22 turnovers. This was just San Antonio's third time all season failing to score 100 points. Only OKC and Denver have done so fewer times. But, Tim, you were quick to say that they're coming off a perfect 11-0 February, right?
Yeah, listen, we're not going to sweat one loss for the Spurs after an undefeated month. And they beat the Thunder 4 times. They just beat Detroit in Detroit. They can handle physical play. They did not do it yesterday against the Knicks, so give the Knicks some credit here.
It exposed one thing, Brian, though, that you think could be just a larger thing to focus on here for San Antonio. What is that?
Yeah, I hate to keep coming back to this, but they are 20th in the league in three-point shooting. I will say a few weeks ago it was like 24th, 25th. And when they beat Detroit last week, one of the big factors in that game was their excellent three-point shooting. In this game, they were terrible. They were 9 of 35 or something like that. And, you know, when you're already having a tough offensive night, when you're relying on those threes, it's going to be an issue. They have improved. I'm just saying, when we get to the postseason, the teams that, when they set up their game plans against San Antonio, they're going to try to get them to shoot threes.
Right.
And that is going to be a trap. And either they're going to overcome that or it's going to end up being something they fall into. That's going to be one of the things we're going to be watching. They fell into that trap, settling for threes on a Sunday afternoon in Garden.
Sometimes those games happen, but credit to the Knicks, as you mentioned, Tim. They've been the #1 ranked defense over the last 6 weeks, Ramona. What stood out to you from this one?
Look, I think Karl-Anthony Towns, I mean, he's not going to win any Defensive Player of the Year awards, right? But he did a decent job on Wemby in the same way that he did against Joker when he was back in Minnesota and they played in that playoff series. I thought he contained him. He made it so that he wasn't this dominant force. And you saw, look, he's working. He's making a tough shot right there. I thought Karl Towns' defense in this game, we can talk about Mikal Bridges, 25 points, 5 threes, 5 steals, 5 rebounds, almost worth those 5 first-round picks. But Karl Towns' defense, you got to give him credit. If you're gonna poke fun at him for his bad games, you got to give him flowers for good games.
And look, there have been times this season where the Knicks' toughness has come into question. This was a tough win. You just saw the numbers they've been putting up defensively. over what is that? That's almost a quarter of the season. So the Knicks, I'm sure they heard the critic. And by the way, the criticism was coming from inside, too, from their own coaching staff. And that's the kind of style they're going to have to play come playoff time to be a real threat in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, for the New York Knicks, it's sort of been the season. They win a couple good ones, they lose a couple they shouldn't. Yeah. They've been a little bit up and down. And so if we're going to criticize the Knicks when they don't get the job done that's in front of them, when they do against a very real team that we've talked about whether or not they're a contender in the Western Conference, this is the version of the New York Knicks that all Spike Lee, Stephen A., this is exactly what they want to be seeing. Hey, we got a lot to get to on our show. Coming up here on NBA Today, Zion '07-08, they snapped a 17-season streak without 45 or more wins. Tim, do you have hotels booked in Detroit?
I do have hotels booked in Detroit. They are, cancelable. But listen, man, when a team goes 4 of 30 from three-point range and wins by double figures, they're a rough and tumble bunch that is a real threat.
Well, don't cancel those yet because they're looking pretty good. Cleveland. This is for you. James Harden, he scored 22 points in his return to the lineup. He had that broken thumb, and the Cavaliers, they snapped a 2-game skid with a win over the Nets. Mr. Winhurst, what's the ceiling for Cavs corner?
Well, James Harden had 12 free throws in this game, which is something that, he hasn't been getting a lot of free throws, but to me it showed that he's not afraid of contact on that hand. So that was a good sign, and he led a pretty strong second half for them. Also, shout out to Danny Wolf, the rookie for the Nets, had 23 points and 9 rebounds. His best game this season.
I don't know that you answered the question, but I do appreciate the shout out. Off to Atlanta, not for Magic City night, but for Jonathan Kuminga. Had another 20-point game. The Hawks overpowered Portland on the way to their 4th straight win. I'll go back to you, Brian. How would you describe the impact Kuminga is having in Atlanta?
Well, especially because Jalen Johnson is back, and he and Jalen Johnson both played extraordinarily well in this game. And look, he can get out on the floor. His athleticism obviously sticks out, and I'm sure he's loving every second of this, and certainly the Hawks are as well. They're on a winning streak.
Well, don't look now. The MVP, he's back for OKC, and Shea had himself a weekend. We like to call him Shea Butter. He's that smooth, and this was a smooth, seamless transition back to action on Friday. He dropped 36 points in OKC's overtime win against the Nuggets after missing 9 games with that abdominal strain. And then on Sunday, he lit up the Mavs. He had 30 points. He extended his overall streak of 20-point games to a cool 123 and could tie Wilt Chamberlain's NBA record of 126 on Saturday against the Warriors. Now, the 30 he had in OKC's win over the Mavs, you see right here where that streak puts it. In the process, the reigning MVP, he passed Wilt for the most consecutive 20-point road games in NBA history. So as OKC's fighting to stay at the top of the Western Conference, the Wolves are clawing their way back in. They were 0-3 against the Nuggets this season, but I sense a change in the weather at altitude. Picking this up in the second quarter here. Edwards gets the pass, buries the 3. The Timberwolves up 45-38. And then under 5 seconds left, the Timberwolves lead. Edwards lays it in, beats the clock, going up by 8 at the half. In the third quarter, let's get some Jokic action. Hits that wide open 3. He's trying to will the Nuggets back in this one. And then a minute to go in the quarter, Nuggets down 9. There's Jokic once again, backing down Naz Reid this time. Crazy. Scored or assisted on 23 of their 32 points for the Denver Nuggets in the quarter. Jamal Murray drives, puts it on Rudy Gobert.
Yeesh.
What a slam there from Murray. Putting the former Defensive Player of the Year on a poster. So the Nuggets down by 10 at this point. Yep, there it is. Picture perfect. Just over 6 minutes to play. The Timberwolves up 106-96 now when we go ahead here. Edwards pulls up. Yeah, this will ice the game right there. Ant feeling it. He finished with 21 points. The Wolves go on to win 117-108. Here's Ant with Katie George after the game.
The last 2 seasons, you guys have been to the Western Conference Finals as a 3 and the 6 seed. How important is it being a top 4 seed to you guys?
Super important, man. We want We don't want to be in a play-in because we want the week of work, of training and watching film and development, and we want home court advantage. I mean, I don't think we had home court advantage. We did my first time going to the Western Conference Finals versus Phoenix, but we want it again.
Well, best of luck in doing so.
Thank you.
The Wolves have won 11 of their last 15 games, right? That's tied for the 6th best record in the NBA in that span. That includes some pretty good wins. They've gotten the Thunder, they've gotten the Nuggets, and yeah, they weren't fully healthy, but you got to beat who's in front of you. So, Brian, what makes this Timberwolves team so dangerous?
Yeah, I think if you look at some of the teams that I would say are in the middle of the West, basically outside of San Antonio and Oklahoma City, all of those teams have some flaws. You look at Houston, they're not a strong offensive team. You look at Denver, they've been weak defensively. The Lakers, weak defensively. The Wolves, they are strong at both ends of the court. And that's really their case for why they can get back to the conference finals, is because they can do it at both ends. They also have a closer in Ant Edwards. And for whatever people want to say about Rudy Gobert, and they dunk on him, and he gets suspended for flagrant fouls, and he says stuff that upsets his teammates, the data is unequivocal. They are a very good defensive team when he's out there, and when he's out there, the Timberwolves are hard to deal with on that end of the court, and that is a big reason why you can believe they can make a run.
I think they've also got their spirit back. I mean, this is a team that's been in the conference finals 2 years in a row.
Right.
And after the trade deadline, it took a little while for some guys whose names have been in trade discussions for Giannis and some of the other things they were trying to do to maybe get their feeling back and feeling loved again. But they look like they've righted the ship. And I've heard from people that give Ant Edwards a lot of credit for that, because he is a leader in that locker room as well.
Sort of bringing everybody together in that way. And that's a step that we've been talking about, wanting to see Ant continue to take and evolve. And we're seeing that now. But the bar, as you mentioned, Ramona, is they've gone to back-to-back conference finals. And so it's getting past that point. That's where Denver's trying to get back to, right? They've lost 8 of their last 12 games, and they're not healthy. And they're running out of time to get healthy, Tim. What's your level of concern there?
Yeah, I think there has to be some real concern. You saw Joker yesterday talking about, some worry might help, might get guys to lock in, might get guys to play harder, but the health is a thing. If the Nuggets can get healthy, everybody expects them to be a contender. Aaron Gordon is ramping up to return soon. Same with Peyton Watson. They are going to be especially careful with Gordon, though, because these soft tissue injuries have been a recurring issue over the last 2 seasons, especially the hamstring. We saw it in the playoffs, saw it twice. Those guys can solve a lot of problems. They don't necessarily get Joker healthy, though. That's also a concern.
Yeah, Cam Johnson's been hurt, too. He had a knee thing, they had an ankle thing. He hasn't been playing very well. So I just think they're thin right now. But if they get those guys back, I don't have that level of concern for them. Every game I see them in, they seem like they're in it.
Well, but when I was talking to David Adelman, Brian, he told me that they want to get 15 games together. That's their ideal. And right now they're sitting at 10. And by the way, they're 8-2 in those games, but they are running out of time. If you're not concerned for them as a whole, there's concern that they're not going to get there, maybe.
Yeah, and now they've got Cam Johnson potentially missing some time with the ankle, as Ramona said. And he made an admission yesterday, David Adelman, that sort of illustrates where this team is. As you can imagine, with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, they try to play them together as much as they can because they're a killer duo on the court.
Absolutely.
They're going to have to change the rotation up a little bit and have one of them on the court basically at all times, according to Adelman, because the rest of the group is not carrying. And that is an indication of them leaning away from what they want to be. So this is a team that's fighting through it. But again, if they get their whole team together, I realize it's a big if, but they are very formidable at full health.
Yeah, it's interesting. Adelman also said that he hasn't shown the entire group until they got past the All-Star break their full record in the standings and where they stand, because he feels like he's coaching sort of a different group for this Nuggets team every night, and they have to get healthy in order for them to make it to their full potential. Since we're talking about health, we have a very special guest joining us in the studio. Pelican star Zion Williamson. You're not going to want to miss this exclusive interview. It's coming up next on NBA Today. He tells us why this is the best. It's the longest in your career. And I got to tell you, it was really a joy to watch. How much fun are you having right now?
I'm having a lot of fun right now. Just being able to get up and know that I can just go play free in NBA games and not have to worry about injuries and stuff like that, because me and my trainer have just been putting in a lot of work.
Yeah, and we're seeing that work right now. I know we mentioned the ankle injury, but this is something that's short term, right? How quickly do you expect to be back on the floor?
I expect to be back tomorrow against the Lakers.
All right, tomorrow against the Lakers. And I think, before the season got underway, you said that this is the healthiest that you have been since high school, since maybe even Duke, and I see you smiling. Now we have a third of the season to go. Do you still feel that way?
I do still feel that way. And when I said that, it was not just from a point of athleticism, but just from being able to go out there and know I can play 30-plus minutes a night and not have to worry about an injury coming down the road or something. It's just, I'm very mobile, and I feel free.
You keep saying that word free, and we're seeing, and the smile that you're giving us right now, I see that, I feel that, and I think back to the best basketball I think I've watched you play. I think it was probably 2024, right? You played 70 games, and then we get to the play-in game, and you were flying. I mean, you had 40 points in that game before you went out with a hamstring injury. Where do you think you played your best basketball?
Man, that's a good question. I feel like I've had different stints. First, second year, I feel like I had good runs. My fourth year, when I made the All-Star game. But that year where I played 70 games, that was the most games I played in the season. But I think my development and growth throughout the year, I got better as the season went on.
Yeah.
And it was dope for a chance to be able to just be out there with my guys for 70 games, just experience road trips and not have to be rehabbing the whole time or something. So it was definitely a great experience, but I would go my fourth year. I would say my fourth year and my fifth year.
Fourth and fifth year. How close do you feel to that best basketball standard now?
When I say the best, we were winning. I feel like when you're winning, it just benefits not just yourself, but it benefits the whole team. Yeah. So when you're not winning, it just, even if you're putting up decent numbers, it just doesn't feel like your best because you're not winning games.
Right, you're still trying to put it all together. You mentioned you're working with a new trainer. What have you changed maybe in your diet, in your routine, in your training that has allowed you to put together this streak of 35 games?
I mean, just the consistency of staying on top of all the small things. You know, we always do treatment every day. The things we work on. Really, it's a big reason why, like, when I say the word free, like, I'm mobile. Like, my muscles aren't tight. I feel loose. And when I'm on the court, there are times where I'll get subbed out, and I'll look at my coach like, do I have to come out the game right now? And I think that's the point where I'm, like, having fun with it because I don't want to come out the game. There are times where I'm like, I really don't want to come out the game because I don't feel tired, and it just feels good to be on the court.
Can you contrast that, Zion, to before? You're saying, I don't feel tired. I'm not raising my hand to come out of the game. Were there times where maybe you had to?
I think there were times when I would be tired because I wasn't doing the necessary work on my body, so my muscles weren't fully recovered. Like, the recovery process is really what's been key for me. Like, the amount of time I put into recovery allows me to feel fresh from day to day versus I may have 2-3 days where it's like, my body's sore, I'm tired, and it'll affect me in the long term versus now where day to day I feel great.
You feel great. You feel like you're ready to go. James Borrego said, quote, there's an element of care factor, he said, that I've seen at a much higher level for him this year than I've ever seen before. Do you see that as being true? And did you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I need to make some changes?
I do see that. That's a part of the recovery process thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did look in the mirror. It was, am I doing what I need to do to stay on the court? Even if I felt like I was doing enough, there was more I could be doing. And with my trainer, Chris, he's always put me on game to different things, different recovery methods, and it's been yielding positive results.
Yeah, it certainly has. Zion, you're only 25, right? You're 25 years old. You've given fans some of the get out of your chair, high-flying, incredible highlights over the years. It's been awesome to watch. And then you get one of those highs, and it's met with, afterwards, you missing significant time with injury. And with that has come a lot of criticism. It's even come within these walls on this network. What's been the hardest criticism of your game, of your availability, of your weight, of your fitness for you to hear?
I mean, there are pros and cons to being in a certain position. Critics come with the territory. The the part that would get at me the most is people saying that I didn't care. And I care a lot. I really care. And when you're not on the court and you have to just sit on the sideline, how much my critics hate it, I hate it more than them because I don't want to be on the sideline. I want to be out there on the court. So that was a part of the process of looking in the mirror. Am I doing enough? Am I really doing what I need to do? So going through all those injuries, missing lots of time because of it, it did a lot on my mental. But it also helped me grow as a pro. So I would say it's a blessing in disguise when you're looking at stuff like that, just trying to stay positive.
I appreciate your perspective on that. Do you think that you got a fair shot?
I try not to view it like that.
Okay.
I'm more of a, master of your own fate kind of person. So I'm going to control what I can control. And if I can make it happen, I'm going to make it happen.
Invictus, I am the captain of my fate. I am the master of my soul. How steadfast is your belief now that you are still that franchise cornerstone piece?
I have the ultimate belief in myself.
Yeah.
Now, it's just going out there and making it happen. Like, if you don't make it happen, words only mean so much. So I have the confidence in myself. Like, I really believe in myself. So I just got to go out there and make it happen.
I feel that belief from you. And when you first were drafted, you had the famous line in the white suit to the city of New Orleans when you said, okay, what'd you say?
I said, let's dance.
Let's dance. And 7 years later, that tango is still continuing. Not just a franchise cornerstone, period. But what does it mean to you, and what do you want to reavow to New Orleans to be their franchise cornerstone?
New Orleans is home for me. I know people hear rumors, hear different things, but New Orleans is home for me. Like in the offseason, I stay in New Orleans and just move around the city, just getting to learn more about the culture. I've made a lot of friends there, and New Orleans, I know I'm saying a lot, but New Orleans is really home for me, so I want to do what I can to help New Orleans win.
Yeah.
So, because if you can win a championship in New Orleans, I mean, if you look at the impact Drew Brees had with winning the Super Bowl, you're forever. And who doesn't want to be forever?
Absolutely. And so for you, New Orleans that is where you are, that is where you're focused. But as you said, this season has been taxing for you all. You are finally starting to get healthy. You're starting to string together what you think this lineup of the future can look like. Where do you see this group? Because there's not a lot of outside options to improve. You guys are going to be improving from within. Where do you guys see the next steps?
Right now, we're, just building habits, building our own identity. Because, like you said, we've dealt with injuries, coaches changes. We just dealt with a lot. And even despite all that, our energy is still high. We still have a positive locker room. And it's not, man, like, what's next is, no, guys, like, how can we build from this?
And it's certainly, it seems like those are the next steps for you all to take. You haven't played, Zion, in a playoff game in your career. You've watched your guys do it. How much desire, hunger do you have to get that experience of playing in those meaningful games?
I mean, I have a big desire for it. I did have the opportunity to watch my teammates play against the Suns in a playoff series a few years ago, and even though I wasn't playing, the environment that the playoff series brought, like, especially in our home arena in New Orleans, the energy was electric. Like, it was loud.
Nothing like it.
Like, just the thrill of even being in the arena, and it is something that I'm very much working towards.
And it's not just the Pelicans, right, who are evaluating their talent, their franchise cornerstones of who could be the next guy. The Olympic team, Team USA, is doing that as well, and we're only a couple of years away from the 2028 Olympics. Is that a goal you have, is to play for Team USA, to represent your country?
It's definitely a goal for me, and it'd be a huge honor to represent my country in the Olympics. But that goes back to, I just got to make it happen.
Yeah.
Like, I can sit here and talk, but, I got to go out there and earn my spot and show them why I feel like I deserve a spot.
It seems like the motto of that I'm getting from you right now is the joy that you're playing with, and all right, enough talking. Now I just have to make it happen. the reason I think that you did this interview is because you wanted to tell your side of these last couple of years. So can you tell me, Zion, the most difficult point with all the injuries and the highest point that you've experienced?
I would say the most difficult point was when I missed my third year with a broken foot. And, you know, there's a lot of criticism on my weight, my care for the game, etc. But the whole time I'm looking at a doctor, and the doctor's telling me, yeah, we're going to perform this surgery, but if this surgery doesn't work, we really don't know the next step.
Yeah.
So while people are saying what they're saying, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion, it is what it is. I'm in Portland rehabbing, not knowing if my foot's going to heal. I'm sorry. And it was frustrating. It was very frustrating, but I was low. I was really low because I just wanted to play basketball. I just wanted to play the game I love, but every time you turn the TV on, every time I check my phone, it was nothing but negative criticism, man. At the time, it did a lot. Like I said, it did a lot, but it was a, blessing in disguise, and, I learned from it, and I grew from it.
And that's why you have the Mount Zion tattooed across your back, right? Because it's not just where you're aiming to go. It's kind of the mountain Zion, especially with that on-the-court criticism that you've carried over the last couple of years. What does a successful next season look like? You get 5-year plans, all of that stuff. And frankly, I was going to ask you about 5 years, but I look at the last 5 years, and it's been very up and down. So why don't we start with 1? What does that look like for you?
For starters, having a winning record. I feel like that's a great starting point, having a winning record. And then from there, making the playoffs.
From there, making the playoffs. And then I will ask, the next 5 years, what does that look like for you?
I have some pretty massive goals that I'm trying to achieve, but all I can do right now is take it day by day. But I know they're going to happen.
You're like me. When you speak them into existence, you do believe that if you say them out loud, you're afraid you're going to jinx them?
Not even that.
Okay.
Not even that. I speak them out loud to the people around me, and I'm very confident in it. But I also have learned it day by day.
Yeah.
Like, I got to focus on the moment. If I can take advantage of that moment, then the next moment, the next moment. And once I get to a certain point, not just myself, but my team.
Yeah.
I'm excited on where we can be at.
Blink once if it starts with C and ends with championship. Just I'm messing with you.
Nah, that is the ultimate goal. Like, that is the ultimate goal, to win a championship. That's a part of being forever.
Yeah, that's a part of being forever, becoming synonymous with New Orleans. And Zion, since we've been talking, and I appreciate your candor and your vulnerability, since we've been talking about just how good you are and can be, we thought we maybe would take a little hike over to the big board here in our studio and check out some top highlights here that our producers cooked up. You have some incredible highlights this season, in previous seasons. I'm going to have you stand there, and why don't we just run back? These are just, I wouldn't even say these are the top 3 because there's too many to choose from. These are 3 excellent dunks from one Mr. Zion Williamson. Director Tarsi, if we could run the tape, please. Starting here, this is this season. What did Nick Claxton ever do to you?
He's from South Carolina, crib talk. I mean, he's a great defender, but he put himself in a bad situation right there.
You know what? And you took full advantage. And you know it's good when your bench reacts like this. Pulling in at number 2, we had to dig out of the archives of this one. Oh, my goodness. What do you think of this one?
I remember that one because I remember my teammate, Sendarius Thornwell at the time.
Yeah.
He was like, man, I ain't seen you dunk on nobody in a while, man. Can you even still do it?
And you're like, yeah, let me remind everybody. And then this is this year as well, on Victor Wembanyama. Is he 7'5", really? Or is he 7'5"?
No, he's tall.
Yeah.
He's tall. He's tall.
Any highlight on Victor Wembanyama is a heck of a highlight.
Nah, for sure. But I think what made this moment what it was the first play of the game, and that's how we started off our home opener.
Well, with dunks like that, and it's March. We had to roll back.
It's only right. It's only right.
As we're getting the madness underway. The 3-6, I mean, you still have that in your arsenal.
Of course, of course.
Not to sound like your teammate asking whether or not you can. Absolutely. Oh, my goodness, Zion. See, this is what makes fans so excited, and I think this is why everyone is so much looking forward to the fact that you put together those 35 straight games, and it's only up from here. And who knows, with dunks like that and $1 million on the line in the dunk contest, yeah, maybe we'll see that in the future. Zion, thank you. I appreciate the time. I really, really do, and best of luck moving forward. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for having me.
What awesome candor there from Zion. Hey, coming up here on NBA Today, Warriors fans hoping for some good news. Persistent right knee issue. They're calling it runner's knee. He's going to be reevaluated in 10 days. That's what the team announced, but over the weekend, I asked Steph about where he's at in his recovery.
I haven't gotten on the court yet, but just trying to stay in shape, strengthen everything else around my body, knowing that at this stage, once you get back, it's kind of a full sprint to the playoffs. So once I get back on the court, it is a little bit of a pain tolerance thing, but it's just something that you don't want to have lingering because it can get worse.
So right now it is still lingering, and he's not back on the basketball court yet. The Warriors, they've won just under 60% of their games with Steph on the floor this season, nearly winning at the clip of the 6-seeded Lakers. But they've won just 38% of their games without him. That's a win percentage below the Grizzlies, to put that into context. But speaking of the Lakers, don't look now. Just a game and a half out of third. A big win for them on the second night of a back-to-back where their guys played. Yes, it was against the Kings. We're not going to talk about that part. We're going to show you the Lakers' energy. Early first quarter, the Lakers up 8-2, diving on the floor. It's Marcus Smart trying to secure it, throwing it ahead. He dives. He gets it. Nice little pass there.
I don't think anyone's ever questioned Marcus Smart's energy.
No, or his toughness. LeBron James, on the second night of a back-to-back, might I add, throws it down. What a sequence there, a hustle play for the Los Angeles Lakers. There's not been a ton of hustle for Sacramento so far this season. Second quarter, Lakers up 20. Luka Doncic slips a pass to Maxi Kleber in the paint, throws it down over Precious Achiuwa.
Wow, flashback for him.
Luka falls, loses the handle. Don't worry, he still gets 3 to go. Unbelievable shot.
How did he not travel? That's amazing.
They're up by 24 at this point. By the way, did this all in front of Novak Djokovic, one of his heroes.
Yep.
Smart picks off the Malik Monk pass, finds LeBron in transition. Lakers go on to win this one big, 128-104. Skip to Malou. And a nice little
one
hug
on
there
three
from Novak
afterwards.
Tim, you're taking anything away from this stint? The Lakers, they avoided the first 4-game losing streak of the season. They've now put together back-to-back wins, but they can only beat who's in front of them.
Yeah, entertaining. Nice weekend. We did not learn anything. We will, over the next couple weeks, they have the Nuggets a couple times, the Knicks, the Timberwolves. They got a baseball series in Houston. We're going to learn whether the Lakers are any sort of a threat over these next 2+ weeks.
They're in the middle of a stretch where they're playing 7 of their next 8 games at home. That was one of those 7. They haven't been great at home. Luka told me over the weekend they've got to get better there. They've got to protect home court. On Wednesday, though, we have 2 games for you right here on